Yo, welcome to Hot Takes with Cheddar Chats, where there's no hand holding. We deal with facts, not emotion. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Hot Show Book Media. Make your voice heard. You guys are really talkative on Twitter. Let's bring the energy here to YouTube. We can have a discourse. Today I want to talk about. But before I get into that, shout out to our new sponsor, Topo Chico. Incredible seltzer. I'm a big fan of their products. Please, you guys go out. They support us, so you please go out and support them. Before I get off track, I want to talk about the Pelicans as a luxury tax team, right? Which player out there who may be available is, kind of, I hate to use the word worthy, but, what guy are you willing to go into the luxury tax for? What guy makes you a perennial, championship contender that's available right now and you're willing to go into the luxury tax for him, right? There's rumblings about Zach LaVine being available. You've seen some rumblings about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being available. Couple other guys, maybe Bam Adebayo. You see other guys, John Collins. Which one of those guys do you think makes this team a perennial championship contender? I mean, truthfully, I've always been a big fan of Zach LaVine's. Always been a big fan. But, I'm hearing some things about his knee. He may have a degenerative issue. And if that's the case, with this team's injury history, is that an investment you really want to make? He's just signed his extension. It's going to be pretty significant. I don't think you can have a Zach LaVine and CJ on this team, especially considering Zach LaVine's injury concerns. And even if you did have Zach LaVine, would that make the Pelicans a championship contender? I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. Is it wise to add another guy to this lineup who's going to take the ball out of Zion and Brandon's hands, especially point Zion, which I'm a big fan of. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who doesn't have those injury concerns, who's looked incredible this season, man. Shai's looked really, really good this season. He's really holding it down right now. He looks like an early MVP candidate. I don't think that team is going to be very successful, but if it was just going by the merits of what the award is supposed to stand for, Shai would, or should be eligible rather. You got a guy like that. Again, another guy who will be taking the ball out of Zion's hands. But I think Shai is so incredible. Again, let me preface with this. I'm not a huge fan of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right? But I recognize that he is a good player, right? I think adding him to the roster, it could add another layer to it. But again, is that the guy who you're willing to go into luxury tax for? If I had to choose, I would probably say, yeah, for Shai, no for Zach. Now you got John Collins, right? John Collins, they've been trying to trade John Collins for a minute now, right? He's probably a cheap trade candidate. You probably get him pretty cheap. But then you start to look at the starting lineup and you're like, okay, John Collins, he's starting now and he's issued. Do you really want to try to convince him to come off the bench? Then let's say you move him to the starting lineup. What do you do with JV? Right? Do you trade JV in a separate trade? How does that help or stall Trey Murphy's development? Is it too many mouths to feed? Like it's a lot of things. Is he even that good? You know what I'm saying? I like John Collins. Now again, he could be a cheap trade candidate. His contract isn't terrible considering what percentage of the cap it'll take up moving forward if the cap were to steadily increase. I think he's got a player option in his last year. He'll most likely opt out of that. Then you got a guy like Miles Turner, right? See, I don't know. I'm really hesitant about bringing more injury-prone guys on this roster, right? I think John Collins may have had some injury concerns as well. I'm not totally sure. But Miles Turner has, well-known injury problems. He's another guy who wants to be a focal point of an offense. Right now, I think he's making around $18 million. If he goes into free agency, he's probably going to come back making about $28 million moving forward. Probably $28 million. Probably get like a 4 or 5 year contract, something like that. Is that the guy you want to invest in with this core moving forward? And if you do, does that make you a championship contender? I'm talking about discount Zion's ascension. Discount Brandon's ascension. You know what you know about these players today. Does that make you a championship contender? That's what I'm talking about, right? If Brandon gets better, the conversation changes. If Zion gets better, conversation changes, right? Of course. But from what we know today, do any of those guys make you a championship contender? A moment, message from our sponsors. The NBA season is heating up and there's still so many unknowns. When I'm looking to get in on the action, I bet with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Check this out. Right now, everyone can earn up to 100% boost with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same game parlay, and combine multiple bets like which team will win, total rebounds, and more. The more legs you add, the bigger the boost, the bigger your shot to win big. Download the app now, sign up with code BOOT, place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win their game, and get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code BOOT only at DraftKings Sportsbook. So what y'all think, man? What y'all think? If I had to pick out of all those guys, I would go with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, with John Collins as a distant second, just because I think he'll be a cheap acquisition. And you can always, I don't say always, you could probably move him down the line. You know what I'm saying? But again, let me know what y'all think. Are any of those guys worth entering the tax? Do you think Gale is willing to pay the tax for a team that may be on the edge of contending? Do you think Griff is willing to even ask Gale to pay the tax for a team that may be on like the edge of contending versus a clear-cut contender? Y'all, chime in. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for your time. I'm out.